Hey, what's up guys? Jayme here. I haven't done a video in a while. This is my buddy Nate. Just moved to a different town, so it's all good. Nate, you want to introduce yourself?
Nathan, I'm 32 years old and I'm a nerd.
There we go. That's as simple as that. Are you familiar with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. For the longest time now, I've been wanting to talk about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's been driving me nuts, and I finally got them. I finally got all of Phase 1 and Phase 2. Bring them over here.
Okay.
I just want to sit down. This is kind of like basically show and tell, and kind of like explain thoughts, review, whatever. First one's obviously Iron Man. Apparently I got the 2 discs.
My favorite. My favorite.
And in all honesty, what do you think of the movie?
Well, you know, I didn't get to read the comic books, so for me, these movies are exciting because it's all new to me. I really liked Iron Man. I think that I think the guy that played Iron Man is the perfect blend of like egotism and overconfidence, but yet he's weak too. In the second or the third one, like, he almost dies. So this is actually my favorite out of the whole.
Did you know that Marvel originally didn't want him, right?
No way.
They didn't.
He's perfect.
Okay, I mean, first of all, he in his earlier career he was as everybody already knows the story. He's an alcoholic,
right.
Yada yada yada. Anyway, they wanted a younger guy.
Huh.
So Kevin Feige, the guy who's the president of Marvel Studios now, was like, okay, well we're gonna hold it for you. So they took a huge gamble with a B-list character nobody even knows. Which is sad. I had Iron Man comics around the house, so I was already familiar with it.
Right.
And so they give the role to Robert Downey Jr. and they give the directing position to Jon Favreau, who I don't know if you've seen the movie Elf.
No, I don't think I saw it.
With Will Ferrell.
Yeah, but I didn't like it. And that's why I don't remember.
Well, he was more of an actor than he was a director.
I see.
But he also made stuff like Cowboys and Aliens later on.
Okay.
So they took a huge gamble, and they didn't even know that this was going to happen.
I see.
Which was awesome. It just blew everything out of the water, even at Comic-Con.
Right.
And then Sam Jackson shows up, and everybody's thinking, oh yeah, after credits scene, you know, something. And you know, if you ever seen a movie like, have you seen the Mario Brothers, right?
Of course.
You know how the after credit scene of that kind of just went nowhere because they never made a sequel.
Yeah.
With stuff like this now, people look forward to the after credit scenes because they know it's going to go somewhere.
That's true. That is one of the things that has developed within cinema, is the after credit scene has actually become like a thing, not just, you know, some stupid BS. Yeah, cool for mentioning.
And then we've got the Incredible Hulk, which is the 3-disc. Cool. And that is, I don't know how the heck I even got. I think I picked up for like $3. And the interesting thing was when Disney went back to relicense all of these, they bought all the stock from Paramount. This is the only movie in the series that is still owned by Universal.
Huh. Okay.
Universal wouldn't let go of the rights.
Cool.
Now you've seen the Ang Lee one, right, from 2003?
Yes.
Is this one any better than that one?
I don't like Hulk at all, so I actually have no opinion either way because it's just not my thing.
Okay. But you have seen.
But I guess if I were to choose which one was better, yeah, I like the modern ones better. But I just don't like Hulk in general either way.
Well, what are your thoughts on Bruce Banner then?
I think it's a cool metaphor.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you know, if it's someone that has, you know, maybe like an inner demon or something like that.
I kind of get the vibe like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, except he's not like running around the town and
that's what I'm
starting bar fights. And did you know for like throughout the 80s, he used to be a mob boss in the comics. He worked as a mob boss.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, he's you know, like super strong and, you know.
Now I still have yet to pick up the 2-disc of Iron Man. I really want to get the 2-disc, so for now I'm settling with the 1.
Okay. Yeah.
Thoughts on that?
Kind of same as before. You know, Robert Downey Jr. is perfect. In this one is where you get to see his weaknesses and stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty cool. And he gets an awesome sidekick. I can't remember the name.
War Machine.
Right. War Machine's the shiz.
and they did replace. That's okay. That's fine. And they did replace Terrence Howard in the first one with Don Cheadle, and that's fine because these two are actually best buds in real life.
Yeah.
Now what do you think of what I want to know is what do you think of the Black Widow? Because this is her first appearance in the MCU. I don't know if you're like a Scarlett Johansson person or not, or what you are.
Well, yeah, but I'm 32. I'm kind of over the whole boobs and
That's okay.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, and the love interest develops in this one too.
Yeah.
And that's why these are my favorite. Just a well-rounded, you know, there's a love interest. The hero shows weakness, which I always like. Special effects good, acting good. These are my favorite out of the MCU.
Yeah. This is just me personally. I feel like Robert Downey Jr. and I'm gonna get so much hate for even saying this. I feel like the Iron Man series work better. Iron Man as a character himself works better if he's surrounded by other heroes. I feel like the jokes are funnier, the quips are easier. Not necessarily that it's a bad standalone character.
Okay.
But I feel he works better when he's surrounded by other people.
You mean the Avengers? Basically.
Yeah, basically. Because
I disagree, but I can respect that opinion.
The only reason I even feel that way is because he likes to be the center of attention, and when he's surrounded by other people with same power or even superior power, he kind of feels like threatened in a sense. And I like to see how he handles that, but that's just me.
I do see your point. I didn't think about it that way.
So we got Thor.
Yep.
Which is the DVD rental.
Right. Second favorite.
And this, it's strange because this one is actually really hard to come by nowadays. You can't find it in a store. I was lucky enough to find it at Video Games Etc. for like $4.
Wow. Good deal.
That was awesome. And I never thought that, in all honesty, until I saw the hammer at the end of Iron Man 2, I didn't think they were going to expand into and I'm like, how the hell are they even going to do this? And then, I don't know if you've seen Harry Potter in the
Sorcerer's...
No, the second one, Chamber of Secrets. That's
Chamber, yeah.
The guy who played Lockhart, I think, was it?
Right.
Kind of the bogus Defense Against Dark Arts teacher.
Right.
He directed the movie.
Oh. Wow.
And he's been known to be like the Francis Ford Coppola. He's done Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. He's done a whole lot of different like top-notch films. So I'm like, okay, this could possibly work.
Okay.
And then the Tesseract, which is the Cosmic Cube, was first introduced in this one.
Right.
And then we got the first Avenger, Captain America, the first Avenger, and he's my all-time favorite hero.
I see.
I'm sorry. Any thoughts?
Liked it, but not as much as the other ones. But they're good movies, yeah.
In a sense, I kind of feel, and I don't think it holds up as well. And I don't know if have you seen The Winter Soldier yet?
I have.
I don't feel it holds up as good as The Winter Soldier, because of the fact that, and it's nice that they take in the first Avenger, they take all this time to introduce the character, and we get to know him, and we get to see how. And we get to see him before he goes into the suit.
Transformation, yeah. Right. I was going to mention that.
Yeah.
That is one thing I did like about the movie was the transformation.
They take their time to
introduce. They did that really good, yes.
But then, as soon as he's in the costume, it's literally like cutscene here. They don't really explain everything.
Yeah, I felt like he lost a little bit of his character depth.
Right.
Yeah, I do agree with you there. And that's why I enjoyed it, but it's not really...
Right.
It was just kind of like one of those mildly entertaining movies, but I wasn't super into
Definitely
it.
is.
Yeah. I'm just a really picky person.
Well, we all are in a sense. Like we wouldn't be doing this damn video if we weren't picky.
Right.
And now the crowning jewel of Disney, the Avengers. And how can anybody hate this? Honestly, how can anybody hate this movie?
It was a good movie. I liked it. Yeah.
Crap. Like I can't trying to even get like some sort of like feeling or anything out of it is like trying to explain quantum physics for me in 5 minutes. Like you with this movie, you can like pick apart certain aspects of it and be like, oh hey, that was my favorite part. That was pretty cool. That was awesome. But you can't. I find it when I'm writing for the nerd. I want to do this movie. I really do. But trying to sit down and write something about it is trying to do a review is I can't do it. I don't know why I can't do it.
You could always do it in parts if it's kind of...
I could, yeah, that would work.
Are you saying it's kind of like going to one of those restaurants and trying to win the competition to eat the 10-pound burger? It's just too much at once? Is that kind of what you're getting at?
I feel like
is that where you're going?
I feel like this movie it's a basic good guy wants to rule the world, No, I mean, bad guy wants to rule the world, good guy
Right.
stop him. But it's got so much thrown into it. As a matter of fact, this feels like another Iron Man movie with the rest of them thrown in. For
I
me,
think that's how they intended it. Actually.
And that's kind of, I don't know. That's the vibe I get from it.
It is cool that it brings all the characters together.
It is. And you would have imagined like 20 years ago or something. You would have been like, yeah, right. There's no way they can do that. I
actually remember thinking that in my childhood reading the comic books.
And now they're doing Batman versus Superman. They're doing the Justice League.
Yep.
Warner Brothers, and I think I might have told you this too. Warner Brothers finally is putting King Kong and Godzilla back together.
No way.
And I think did I tell you that or not?
No. Shit,
okay.
cool.
This was a couple of weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
and Warner Brothers finally got the rights to Godzilla and King Kong. And I did a video on this too. And they're finally putting them together. And it's going to be a shared universe with Cloverfield, I think, and the Pacific Rim characters. I think that's where they're going with that. That's pretty awesome. Now everybody's trying to race to it. So then we got Iron Man 3. And you've seen that one, right?
Yep.
I don't know which ones you've seen out of Phase 2, which
I've seen all of them.
Which, by the way, this is Phase 1 and this is Phase 2.
Right.
Which I don't know why they do phases, but apparently.
Well, Disney is very, very smart in business marketing, so you know.
What did you think of the Mandarin? Do you feel like that was a wasted character, or I don't
know. I mean, it's hard for me to say bad things about Iron Man because again, it's my frickin' favorite.
I'm just talking about the fact that it's Ben Kingsley. I mean, I feel like it got the Venom Spider-Man 3 treatment.
Yeah.
They kind of just wasted it because it turned out to be like some actor or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I do think they could have done that better. They could have given that character more depth, but overall, I do think the movie was pretty good.
I know for a fact. Josh took one look at this. Joss Whedon, who does the Avengers movies.
Right.
He took one look at this. Saw the huge fight with all the robots that Stark builds at the end of the movie for that huge. And he looks at that and he goes, "How the hell am I going to top that in Age of Ultron?"
Yeah.
That's the first thing.
That was an epic freaking battle.
First thing out of his mouth is, "How the hell am I going to top that?"
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
And then we got the Dark World.
Yep.
And
watched that last week.
And I feel like, this is me personally, I feel like the only way you can get a Thor movie to work is if he's on Asgard. I feel like, I mean, a standalone Thor, I don't know why this one gets a whole lot of hate. I'm not sure if it's Malekith or who it is or what the story is. Give me some feedback, people. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on Thor: The Dark World, because honestly, I don't see it. I think it's pretty good. But I'll tell you one thing I'm sick of is all these damn cop-outs with the deaths. Like Coulson dies, they bring him back in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Loki's dead and he's taken over Odin. I hate how they say they're going to kill off everybody, and now it's just become engraved in our heads. We think they're just going to bring them back. Like every time.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they do that because A, it's Disney, and Disney just their whole market is built on children,
right?
You know, and B, you know, when you kill somebody off, then you can't bring them back and make more money. That point that you just made is kind of why I like old-timey movies, because back in the 20s and 30s, they weren't afraid to kill somebody.
Right.
You know, people died, people got hurt.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of silly sometimes, but
I feel like they didn't really boot into like that, like the horror genre, like until like the later 70s. I feel like that's when the horror genre like really kicked in. But
I can agree with you there.
But while we're on the topic of Disney and aimed towards children, I feel like Captain America: The Winter Soldier is literally the only one that kind of strayed away from that aiming towards children factor. You've seen The Winter Soldier, right?
I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making. I don't remember.
It was a little bit of a darker theme.
It really was. But if you actually think about it deeply, it's the politics and the relationship that Cap has with S.H.I.E.L.D. and the distrust and the lies. I can definitely see where he's coming from at that point.
True.
But all I remember was, and it's sad because the day that I went to go see this in theaters was the day that my grandmother died.
Huh, I see.
So I just remember sitting in the theaters, and here comes the shot where they put the thing over Bucky's face when they start to electrocute him to wipe the memory. I'm like, and the first thing out of my mouth, obviously I got that sick feeling, but I'm like, he's gonna come back as Cap. That's all I could say.
Speaking of comic book movies, getting off track here, wasn't Sky Captain a comic book movie? The World of Tomorrow, remember that one?
Did they do that?
Yeah, they did. And a lot of people think it sucks. I think it was a great movie, actually. The way it was filmed, the cinematography of it was almost like you're actually reading a comic book.
I didn't know they did Sky Captain.
The way they did the camera shots and everything was really creative. There wasn't much of a story. I thought it was an exciting movie.
I didn't know they did Sky Captain.
Personally, I would like to see a sequel. I thought it was a great movie. I think we have it here somewhere.
Well, we're gonna have to watch it now.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
just speaking of stuff that is in no relation or off topic, but it's weird. Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm sorry. What are your thoughts?
I loved it. And again, because I wasn't raised with comic books, this was totally new. Like, I had never heard of it. I had never met any of the characters. So it was really exciting for me to meet totally new characters
the only one
on the screen that I had never seen before. It had the right blend of action, comedy. There was some emotional stuff in there. Again, just a great, well-rounded movie.
Let me ask you a question, though. 20 years ago, would you have known who any of these characters are?
Oh, not at all.
Because of and this is the one thing that Marvel actually gets right.
I'd never heard of them.
Their mass marketing production. They go all out with the sales. You know who every single one of these guys is. It's ridiculous. That's
right. They got T-shirts. They got frickin' coffee mugs.
You had a Guardians of the Galaxy blanket, didn't you?
Yep. And a pillow.
20 years ago, somebody would have said, "Oh, we want to make a raccoon and a tree heroes." You would have laughed. You would have laughed your asses off.
They don't even do that in cartoons, hardly.
No, you don't see any of that shit.
No.
And you've seen Age of Ultron, though, right?
I have.
Okay.
Right. And now you can furnish your whole house with Guardians. You could probably literally furnish your whole entire house with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. Sometimes I think they go a little overboard, but again, this is America, capitalism,
but
you know.
I remember when this came out.
I mean, do we really need like a Groot, coffee mug?
That would be awesome. I'm gonna make one. But I remember this was in theaters August 1st, and they pulled it I think it was November 22nd. In theaters. It stayed that long. I've never seen a movie stay that long.
It was in theaters long.
I've never seen a movie stay 4 months in theaters. That was ridiculous. Now, the Avengers Age of Ultron was in for maybe 2 months.
Right.
But
I watched that about 3 weeks ago.
The Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver and the Vision. What are your thoughts of the new Avengers?
Well, I didn't like Quicksilver at all. His character was pretty weak.
Now, if you've ever seen X-Men Days of Future Past,
I have.
He's awesome in that. I'm sorry. The shot where he's running through the kitchen and just eating everything and just rearranging the bullets. Marvel took one look at that. They're there's no way we're going to top that. So.
Yeah, that was an awesome scene. Yeah, you're right. Quicksilver was amazing in Days of Future Past.
Yeah, but I kind of felt like this was a letdown. He could have been hilarious. But the funny thing about that is, the guy who plays Quicksilver in this, and the guy who plays Quicksilver in Future Past, they were both in Kick-Ass together.
Oh yeah, that's
the first one,
weren't they?
Yep. Huh. This guy played Kick-Ass, and the other guy played his best friend, Todd. I think it would. Yep, it would have been Todd.
Right. That was another great movie. Kick-Ass, man.
And I think I have it back at the house.
Another review for another time, I suppose.
Yep. And I know I said in earlier episodes I hate Kick-Ass. My views kind of changed a little bit. I actually like it now, considering I finally just realized what it's trying to go for.
Right, it wasn't meant to be serious.
And now comes the crowning jewel,
which
Ant-Man.
I haven't seen.
We got it early. We got this early. It's an
Don't ask us where we got it. We can't tell you.
It's an official early release. Disney sent it. So thank you. That was awesome. You probably don't even know that you did it, but it was awesome. Thank you. And now I have seen this. I've seen this in theaters, and it is amazing.
Okay.
Basically, all it is, I don't know if you're familiar with the character of Ant-Man.
A little bit. Again, I wasn't raised with comic books.
I've read
about him on the internet and stuff.
What this one is Hank Pym here.
Okay.
Was the original Ant-Man, even in the comics. He was one of the founding members of the Avengers. Well, they decided to go with the other route and do Scott Lang, who's Paul Rudd, and it feels like Anchorman if it was a superhero movie.
Okay.
That's how the movie feels like, and we'll probably watch it when we're done. But it was very interesting because half the time, like they're making jokes about it. They're like, "Oh yeah, work doesn't come easy for ex-cons. I've got a master's degree in chemical or something like that." And then they cut to Baskin Robbins. Like, "Welcome to Baskin Robbins. Would you like to try our mango fruit blast?" And it's just like joke after joke. But they throw enough action in there to keep you satisfied. And Falcon's in there, and they fight it out.
Okay.
And
speaking of jokes, did you see Deadpool?
I want to. That comes out February.
I actually don't want to see Deadpool because I used to read his comics a little bit. In the comics, actually, from what I remember, he was like serious.
Yeah, he's
and I kind of don't like how in the movie he's like a joke. Like it's like he's making jokes. And he was like really serious.
Technically,
in the comic books. I don't know if I want to see it or not.
He started out, from what I remember, don't quote me on this, he started out serious, and then he would break the fourth wall and make jokes, because he was aware that he was in media and in comics and everything, and that became a thing.
Huh, okay.
So they kind of just transferred it, I guess, because a lot of people clicked as soon. And he didn't even get popular until like the last 5-6 years. People were like, holy shit, this guy's awesome.
That's true. He was one of the lesser known. And speaking of lesser known heroes, like Ant-Man. Ant-Man wasn't super popular.
And now he is, and he's going to be in Civil War next year.
Huh. How far do you think Marvel should take this? Do you think they should start digging deep into the archives and bring out all these? Because there's a lot of quirky.
Now here's the sad thing.
There's a lot of quirky Marvel characters.
This is the sad thing though about it.
What's one I'm thinking of?
Like they're doing. I know they're doing the Inhumans and Captain Marvel, and they're going to be doing all sorts of things. But here's the problem with it: Marvel back in the early 2000s, when X-Men hit at the box office, they started selling off all their characters to different companies.
Right.
So they don't own all the property. Like they just bought Spider-Man back for Civil War.
Oh. Okay.
Spider-Man is going to be in Civil War, but they still have yet to get like the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. They have yet to get them all back.
Well, would you like to see some movies based off some of the more quirky characters? Because DC has a lot of quirky, kind of funny, lesser-known characters.
But Warner Brothers owns like all of them. So, so that's easy.
Well, regardless of who owns them, would you like to see some of these lesser-known, kind of quirky, weird characters come into the movies?
Like the B and the C listers are already getting their own movies. Black Panther is. Black Panther's getting one. Captain Marvel, she's getting her own.
What about a Thundercats live action? Would you see that?
I don't think that's owned by Marvel, but I would definitely see it though.
Right.
Every time I hear Thundercats, I keep thinking Josie and the Pussycats.
Yeah, they already did a live action.
I know, and it sucked. I'm sorry, it did.
I mean, there's some lesser known Dark Horse. There's Dark Horse. Dark Horse has some amazing comics. Neil Gaiman. I mean, shit. Why haven't they made Sandman movies yet?
They really need to.
Yeah, Sandman is amazing. Yeah, I mean, there's so many things out there, and books too. There's amazing books out there.
Bishop and I were talking the other day about.
Just like, how is this not a movie? You know, like.
Bishop and I were talking.
Tom Clancy, Michael Crichton, okay.
They do the Jurassic Park, and they have done a bunch of the of Jack Ryan's.
But but there are a lot more other books by Tom Clancy and Michael Crichton that are amazing that haven't made it to the screen yet.
Right.
But anyway, that's just because I'm a nerd and I read a lot, and I mean, I get it. They can't make a movie out of everything. I wish they could. But, business is what it is. You have to be realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing they could do about that anyway. So.
Well, I know. That's why.
And I know I was gonna say something. I know I was gonna say that's okay. I know I was gonna say something I forgot anyway. I'll probably go back and look at it and be like, it's okay. Oh yeah, now I do remember. Okay. Bishop and I were talking the other day.
Okay.
And we were talking about The Mask.
Okay.
How Dark Horse, when they did the comic series originally, it was like hyper violent, and he used to kill people like all the time. And then they get Jim Carrey in the stand, and next thing you know, they're popping out cartoons with him and Ace Ventura. So mass media can definitely change something.
That's true, and sometimes I like it, and sometimes I don't. But then again, that's just something you have to accept about living in a capitalistic, system.
All right. Well, we're running out of time.
All right.
This is the MCU. I'm awesome. He's a nerd.
That's right.
High five.
I love it.